like a lowly Jesus. No, not one, no. No, not one. Who else can save my soul and make me whole, make me brand new? I am not the same, so I've got a reason to praise his name. All of the glory, all of the honor. Search high and low, and I still couldn't find anyone like him. He's been better than me. He's been good to my.
Welcome to BTG Ministry Show tonight. This show is about men and for men. Ladies, you are welcome too, because you're part of the family. Sit down and watch, and let's get blessed together tonight.
Go.
It's a great day in Charlotte. The sun is shining. My God, and I'm feeling good. I have a visitor here today, Miss Marie Gladden. Thank you so much for coming on the show and
Thank
taking
you for having
time
me.
out of your busy schedule.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I want you to tell the audience your credentials and just what you do.
Well, I'm an advanced certified marriage, family, child, and adolescent therapist.
Now, I
I'm a
didn't know that.
temperament therapist, child and adolescent therapist, as I mentioned. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. But most importantly, I am passionately in love with God and His people.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
yeah.
That's a good place
That's
to
my
be.
greatest credential.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good place to be. He love you back.
I
You know what I'm
believe
saying?
it. I believe
He said
it.
he'll never leave you, nor
Never forsake me.
you.
Yes.
Then he said, he know the thoughts he had towards you, thoughts of peace
I believe it.
and not of evil.
Yes.
And to give you an expected end.
Expected
Isn't that
end.
awesome?
It is awesome.
I tell you, you said a mouthful because you can't lose with God.
Can't lose
You
with
can't
God.
lose. You follow God.
That's it.
You said your steps is already ordered.
He's ordered the steps. That's right. I'm just walking it out.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank God for you and your smile. We're here today. We're going to talk about how can we know a lot of men are incarcerated.
Yes.
That's a big thing nowadays. And we want to focus on how can these men coming out of prison come back and reconnect with their families, the young children, 9 and 10 years old. Some of them have adult children because they've been sentenced for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yes.
How can they reconnect? Because I know that's a part of healing.
Yes. Yes. I counsel a lot of men who have been incarcerated, and I counsel a lot of children who are dealing with their parents being incarcerated. It is a challenge, obviously, reintegrating back into society. I
Yes.
think one of the things that we need to do is really slowly reintroduce the parent back into the life of the child. When an individual has been incarcerated for 10, 15 years, 5 years even, so much has changed with that individual and so much has changed with the family unit.
Yes.
So I think the biggest challenge is that they need assistance in order to reintegrate. And I think people just let them out and just hope that they find their way, and they're just not able to. They need help.
Yes, it's a lot of emotion.
A lot of
Come out
emotional
because
stressors.
I miss you and I want to make up the time.
Yes,
and,
a lot of
and we
hurt
can
feelings.
do it, but you're not really addressing what you really need
Absolutely,
to address
absolutely.
to enhance the relationship.
Absolutely.
That-
You got to dig back to the roots. The roots. And I think sometimes we just want to try to get everybody to bond, but we're not really dealing with the root issues, the real root causes of why they were incarcerated in the first place and the real trauma to the people left behind. I think until you deal with those root causes, it's really hard to reestablish those relationships.
So is that something would include the entire family or?
I would recommend family therapy so that everybody has an opportunity to really say what they feel in an environment where they're not being judged, but they have a third-party individual that's unbiased. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking that would be a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on the father. Say if it's the father who's coming home from prison. Would that be overbearing for him? Because each time we go to counseling, it's like, you are the reason why we're here. It's like you keep getting slapped in the face.
I don't think the counseling or the therapeutic process is supposed to be about attacking the father. I think it's really more about helping that individual pull out the issues and to help the children and those left behind pull out their issues. It's really more like having a mediator just help them communicate what they're really wanting to say. I find in my experience that men have found that to be very helpful. Sometimes we help give voice to these internal emotions that they're not able to express. Even in today's society, even if a man's not incarcerated, it's really hard to get men to speak. You know, sometimes we are, as women, so overbearing, we're just dominating conversations, and men are just really looking for opportunities to just come in and say what they need to say. So I think in the therapeutic environment, it allows that man to have the freedom of speech, the non-judgmental environment where somebody can advocate on his behalf to say what he's trying to say in an effective way. Yes.
Yeah, I can identify. I mean, in a conversation, if you let in a conversation, you let someone say too many words, exchange too many different ideas,
Yes.
you're lost in the process.
Yes.
So you won't know what to say.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So from the beginning, if I'm not allowed to interject,
Yes.
or if I feel like low self-esteem,
Yes.
not educated and stuff
Or
like
feeling
that,
attacked, you know?
I would feel uncomfortable to voice my opinion.
Absolutely.
Often I talk to women, and women say, "Well, a lot of men they don't talk because they're intimidated by me." You know, the women be saying that, and I guess that is true to a certain degree.
I do think there's some elements of that, but I think most of the reason that men don't talk is not a byproduct of intimidation. It's that they are not well received. So when a man is opinionated and he's strong, we say he's aggressive, and he's that aggression is what causes that man to be docile. I think sometimes with women in particular, we're able to express our emotions. We can get angry and throw things, but a man can't do that. So if he's angry, there's an expectation that he responds to anger in a way that is different than the way we respond to anger. We get permission to cry and to throw things, but a man may have those same emotions that we have, but they cannot express them the way that we are able to. So, and I think sometimes we interpret that as the man feeling intimidated. Yes, there are some instances where that is the case, but I don't believe that's the majority of the situation. I think it's that we're not giving them permission to communicate. And I also think another issue we have is that a lot of males are not being trained to become men. Just because an individual's older physically, it doesn't make you a man. The character, the integrity, those foundational things are not there, and those values have to be instilled by the fathers. And a lot of times you find that the fathers are absent in the home, so that man doesn't understand how to be a husband. He doesn't understand how to be a wife, a father. He doesn't know how to be a friend because he has not seen that modeled effectively. But we expect him to model it when he has not been trained to model it effectively.
So often, we come up on an uneven playing field.
Yes.
We come up in a hostile environment. We come up in an alcoholic, dysfunctional environment. I myself, and we're growing. We're getting older every year, but we're not increasing in knowledge.
Yes.
You know, and so before we know it, we fall in love. We think, and we have a baby. You know. And we think we're ready for marriage, and all this dysfunction and this bad behavior that we have learned by watching either a parent or someone in the street. And all of a sudden, we in this great responsibility, and we can't produce. We can't produce. And a lot of times, women, they don't look at the total picture to look at the individual. You can't do this, you can't do that. And so many times, I talk to guys in prison, and you know, first thing they say, "Well, my father, he wasn't there."
Yes, yes.
My father, you know, he did this to me. He abused me. He abused my mom. You know, and on and on.
Yes.
But at that age, as they growing up, that's why it's so valuable. It's so important that we pour into them.
Yes, and I don't believe that we pour enough into men. Even the young boys, we're losing our younger generations, and these are our future. They're going to be, you know, the men that we look up to. And if you just watch the way society is right now treating young men, especially young black men, there's this need to be respected, there's this need to be valued, and they don't know how to ask to be respected in a way that's constructive. So as a result, they may become aggressive, but they don't have the proper guidance so that they can hone in these emotions or effectively communicate those emotions. So we tend to judge them based on how we see them, but these are hurting people.
Very hurting.
They're hurting, but we're not digging into the hurts. We're not addressing the hurts. We're not addressing the whys of their behaviors. We're just locking them up because of the behavior.
It seems
so
to
it just
me,
keeps going.
I might be wrong. It seems to me that the media or the system is targeting the family where they just intentionally do things to run the man down and bring the woman up and separate the family, just tear the family all apart.
There's obviously this attack on families, right, just in general, but I do think the media plays a role in that. If you watch the average, nightly news or whatever, all you're seeing is such negative stereotypes of men. You don't see anything about what positive men are doing. All you hear about is some drug dealer or somebody's going to jail or somebody beat his wife. So when a male is looking for a role model and dad is not home, that's all they see. So as a result, they see a reflection of who society says they are, and all they do is simply play that role. But the truth of the matter is that's not who they are.
So what are some basic steps that we could, prior to counseling or when we make a decision to do better and we make a decision, say we go build a home or something, we start at home and we begin to take some notes and we begin to chart our course. What are some basic steps that people could take prior to getting to the counselor? Because we know money is even tied to that.
Absolutely. As a therapist, I will tell you, counseling, long-term therapy is effective, but it's very expensive.
Yes, ma'am.
I firmly believe that everything begins in the home. That begins with the biblical training. I'm a firm believer in faith. I believe that God is the ultimate role model for a man. So if dad is not around, then it's important for mom to introduce that child to Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, and just allow the character and the nature of Christ to build up in them. I also think that even if a male child is being raised by the woman, it's important for that male child to not hear that woman male bash and your daddy's this, your daddy's that, because he is a piece of his daddy. So if his daddy's no good, then he believes he's no good.
Okay.
So I think it's important for us to mature up, even though the relationship didn't work out or your expectation of that man fell through. It's important for you to understand you still made a decision to have a child with that man, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you do your part. You can't be daddy and mom, but you have to be the best mom that you can be, and part of that may be to keep silent about what you think about that man if it's not positive, just to make sure that you are lifting up the child and not judging them based on their actions alone, but to give them opportunities to express themselves. I think a lot of boys today are looking for ways and avenues to be heard. I think they want to be heard.
Yes.
And I think we're just so busy, we don't have time to hear. I think we need to take the time so that we are able to listen, so that they know that they don't need to go to the streets to get an ear, that we're here to support them. But I do believe it ultimately takes a village. We need to go back to the old days where people are watching out for one another. People are speaking up against what is wrong and those types of things. So I still believe in the foundation of the village.
Oh, it's so important. It's so important. Where our grandma was present.
Yes,
your aunts were present.
yes,
your uncle were present.
Yes.
A lot of that is really missing. It's
Yes.
really missing.
Yes.
And I was speaking of the church, and that's a vital part also.
Critical.
If we could get certain programs, we could mimic certain programming, certain faith belief in the church, because the community goes to the church.
Absolutely.
We go back and forth. But we have to begin to effectively somehow deal with this situation in the family, in the community, because a lot of times we are just going from day to day and say, pray about it.
Yes, but we don't want to do anything about it.
Yeah, we want to just pray about it, man. God will deliver this, that, and other. And that's true to a certain degree.
But faith without works is dead. You still need the corresponding actions,
Right. So, we definitely need to stop doing that kind of stuff. Would you say it's easier for a man to transition back and deal with the children, the younger children when you come out versus the older children, the adults?
I think it's never really easy, but if I had to pick, obviously it would be easier with the younger children than it is with the older ones, only because over time that those traumatic experiences have built up, and they tend to be a little bit more resistant, where the younger children they tend to be a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah.
You know, they're a little bit more, it's much easier to explain things to them than it is for older individuals who have experienced your absence and
That's
the
so
pain
true.
and the heartache of you not being there. But the formative years typically is where the trauma really impacts the child. So I think the closer you can get to those formative years, the better it would be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You shared a wealth of knowledge
Thank you,
tonight.
thank
You
you.
really have. We look forward to you coming back.
I
and
look forward to
sharing
coming
some
back.
More.
Thank you.
Yes, you have really blessed our soul tonight. The community needs you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
They need you. And we thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having
We
me.
pray that God continue to bless you.
Thank you.
And make ways. What about, is any insurance? How's the insurance doing for supporting what you do?
Well, I'm in private practice, so we don't take insurance, but
Okay.
there are firms that do take insurance. And I will say to you that insurance is helpful, but typically they don't give you enough money for all of the therapy that you need. So they'll give you maybe 10 covered sessions. Typically you can't address deep issues in 10 sessions.
I got you.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it really does come down to an economic play. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Thank you very
again.
much. Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
we
you.
look forward to working with you again. We're going to sign you up tonight.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm more than
yes.
happy to help.
Yes.
Thank you.
God bless you. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
So glad you enjoyed the show so far. For additional information, run over to my site at BTG Ministries 09, and we'll do you good. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Man, it's a great day in Charlotte. Audience, if you have anyone in prison, anybody dealing with prison, anybody struggling in Charlotte area, man, we got someone to talk to tonight. We got Bishop Saunders here tonight. We're going to share some powerful information for you tonight. Bishop Saunders, welcome to the show tonight.
Welcome.
We want to give you the platform to tell these people who you are, what you represent, and what you're doing for the community.
Elder, I am Bishop C. MacArthur Sanders.
Yes,
and
sir.
I am the presiding prelate of Partners to the Promise Conference of Churches. We are a group of churches in 12 states within these United States.
My God.
And we are working with things that will make our churches and community better and
Yes.
enable them to do things that we've been hindered with because of the works of the enemy.
My God.
Some of the things that I would like to mention is today that I came wearing 3 hats. I'm also the pastor of the Canaan Christian Worship Center here in Charlotte, and I am the president and CEO of Partners to the Promise School of Christian Education. It is an accredited school with fully accreditation, and we are having graduation in June. By the way, we are graduating 40 graduates of, and I just think it's a wonderful thing.
My God, yes.
But most important, as you asked me at the beginning of the set, our Partners to the Promise Conference of Churches, we are assisting the churches to touch on family values.
Yes.
And what we're doing, young men that's incarcerated, we assisting them that's being released from prison. We're helping to find them jobs. We are assisting them in finding work.
Great.
We are assisting them by training them and preparing them for certain work as they have become adapted back to the community. We even have our program, our college program, whereby we can get them to go to college.
My God.
Even after they're out of prison. So we're doing a number of things. I really think it is the church's obligation to do more than have service on Sunday and Wednesday, and get out and get involved in the community, become a part of the families that make up the churches.
Yes.
And I just think it's the church's job to do more.
Yes, sir. It really is. It really is. I'm thinking of even when Jesus fed the 5,000.
That's right.
They had a spiritual need, and they had a physical need also.
They had a physical need also. In
But-
fact, Elder, that spiritual need, Jesus was meeting that spiritual need when he prayed for them there on the seashore. But while he was praying and while he was ministering to them, they became hungered.
All right.
And not only did they become hungered, they had a problem there on standing there on the seashore because they didn't have no food.
All right.
And only had one young lad that his mother had fixed him some lunch. And Jesus, being Jesus and able to do the things that he was able to do, he took that fish and barley loaves of bread, and he made enough to feed the 5,000 men, not counting women and children.
My God.
And I think that task has been passed on to the church for us to do just a little more
Yes,
than
sir.
what we are doing.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
And God is able to multiply.
He's able to multiply.
His word says he's able to do exceedingly abundantly above all.
Yeah, that's right.
So we have to employ more action. We have to employ more research.
That's right.
Praying is good.
That's right. In his place.
Praying is good. That's a must.
Yes,
praying.
it is. Yes, it
But
is.
then we have to go beyond praying. God
That's
is
right.
leading you to a certain individual to share some powerful information to get you over this stepping stone. Yeah.
Let me share some of the things. If we could get the families to open up, if we could get people to open up about the needs, I'm talking about from the real needs that's needed within the home, in the community.
Okay.
The problems that the children are suffering with, the problem that the young men are dealing with, and the reason they are imprisoned. It's not all on the prison system.
No.
It's not all on the police department. We've got some things that we need to do at home. We need to do some training. We need to better prepare our families from the church to let them know who they are and to let them know there is a better way. And so that's what we're involved in. We just assisted in a young man being released from prison all the way from Buffalo, New York.
My God.
He'd been in Buffalo for 37 years, got locked up.
My God.
37 years ago for a double murder in which he says he didn't do, but he's the only one that would not tell what had happened. And this happened to him, and we worked with him. We wrote letters. We did different things that would assist him.
Okay.
And that's what we do. However, we are law-abiding people also.
Right.
We don't go out of the path of the law and what the law requires us to do, but we want to be of a help. We've got parents with children that's growing up with one of the parents in prison, and we want to help them. We do more than just help the parents. We want to assist in the lives of the children.
That's right.
And in
That's
what
right.
they're doing. We want to be able to find the necessary resources. With others that you interview here on your TV set, you're reaching out to them, and that's what we're trying to assist great people like you in doing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You must have listened to my interview when I talked to the Thurbers tonight, because we was talking about the same thing.
Right, right.
We have to meet the need in that household
That's right.
to encourage those young people even to step up and say what's on their
That's right.
mind.
That's right.
Encourage those young people even to be able to respect authority, respect themselves. Because somewhere long down the line, the young people weren't given what they needed to mature.
Can I just elaborate on that
Yes,
just
sir.
a little bit?
Yes, sir.
I have been in the ministry. Come June the 14th will be 44 years.
44 years.
I've been pastoring in and around this city and in the state of North Carolina for 41 years.
You have a lot of experience, Bishop.
Yeah, I have been a presiding overseer now since 1999 over a group of churches. And one thing I find out, Elder, is that there is a responsibility given to the churches that we must bring some increase to. The reason that the young people are having such a problem with their identity if they can't identify with the church. We must elevate ourselves to a point whereby people will have, that the young people will have more of what they need to be me being a mentor to them than one of the rap artists.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? And they can learn how to sing some of the hymns in the churches and some of the spiritual songs in the churches, and learn how to do that as easy as they can do a rap song.
My Lord.
So I think the church, we at the church has let our community down.
A lack of influence.
I don't think we've been all that we can be. I wouldn't say that we've been a complete failure, but I would say that there's a lot that the church is lacking, whereby we are no longer being mentors. We depend more on the people and the different committees and the different organizations around the city and the different secular organizations. We depend more on them being mentors than we do as a church.
Yeah. We a lot of cases we're busy being saved. We're busy being Christians.
We're busy having programs.
But we're not.
But we're not busy mentoring our children. We're not busy preparing leadership for the family. We've got a problem. We've lost generations. We have lost 2 generations already.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
We've got a problem with young women having babies out of wedlock. A lot of people don't like to talk about it because they feel like we're downing our children, but we need to take that down and turn it upward.
Yes.
And we need to mentor those, and we need to mentor the children. We can't do anything about it once they're here, but we can stop it as we go forth in the future.
There are so many topics in the church that we ignore, we don't deal with. And it deals with basic family, and it deals with mentoring and maturing the adult as well as the kid.
The family, if you'll notice, was the first thing that God placed in the church. It was not an organization.
Hello.
It was not a board, as we so refer to different ministries in the church. We say that they are boards. It was not a bishop, as so many people are bishops now, and everybody uses that desire to elevate themselves. But it was just a man, Elder.
Just a man.
And then one thing we found out, the Bible says that God says that he looked and saw that man was lonely, and he made him a wife.
Yes, sir.
And I think that was really important. I believe if we'll go back there, we'll be able to make it.
Go back there from ground from some start.
Yes, sir.
And do the works over again.
Amen.
Well, Bishop, we really thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
We look forward to working with you even more.
God bless you.
Man, and I believe a lot of things you said tonight, a lot of pastors would not say.
Well,
But I agree with you. It needs to be said.
it needs to be
needs to be said. We need to pull back the cover.
a lot of them haven't been around as long as I have.
So I really appreciate you, Bishop, bringing all that knowledge and wisdom on the set. And man, we look forward to doing more work with you. Okay.
Thank you. God bless you.
Bless your work, man. Bless your family.
Thank you.
Amen.
All right.
Don't touch that down. We'll be right back.
There we go.
Yeah, we're back.